Bots scrape news sites to generate fake news site. Earlier this week, I read an article in Het Financial Dagblad, a Dutch financial website. It was about bots scraping their content in order to build a vast data set upon which large language models can be trained. The first paragraph ends with attempts to block websites don't suffice, and a bit further in the article again, it is iterated that it's technically difficult to shield websites against bots, and they discovered that bots copy articles protected with paywalls. This doesn't surprise me at all. Some bots have become sophisticated, and without specialized software, they are indistinguishable from normal human visitors. When the stakes are high, the potential profit is enormous, and when you're able to pay $1,000 a month to hire a team of specialists able to make and continuous update the best content scraping bots known to mankind, then you're kind of your bot army. And for those wondering, these bots will happily ignore the robot.txt terms and conditions, etc. Content scraped from millions of news articles end up in LLMs, large language models like ChatGPT, Bard, and zillion lesser-known LLMs. These models, once trained, make big bucks without any compensation to the original content writer and owners. To make it even more bitter, copycat websites use bots to scrape the content for news sites, top publishers, then rewrite the content as a rewritten by an LLM version on their news website. Read MFA News website. Place ads on these websites to monetize the hard work of the bots, as can be read in the Bloomberg News article. Footnote 4 and 5. These content farms don't add value. On the contrary, they host a plagiarized version of the news, fake news, and are just clickbait only and only to lure people. And don't worry, also bots to their websites where these ads are shown. The reason why they use LLMs to rewrite the article is that it's hard to detect plagiarism using automated checker tools. Ironically, these LLMs regenerating copycat news articles are trained on the content from the very same news websites. The bills and hard work of these copycat websites are indirectly paid by advertisers. By having lots of advertisement slots available, they promise advertisers and agencies the world. Luckily, the URLs of these websites will be relatively new and aren't relevant reputation-wise, so they can typically be found in the so-called long tail of websites, exactly where your advertisements shouldn't be placed. One more reason to use an inclusion whitelist of domains where your ads are allowed. Web archiving. Another form of content stealing is done by archive.today. The website claims to be a time capsule for web pages. At a very first glance, a very noble mission statement, except that this service can be used to capture content from news publishers, paywalled websites, etc. And once captured and archived, articles can be immediately accessed free of charge, even articles behind a paywall. Be able to archive this implies archive.today has subscriptions to most of the newspapers, magazines, and not just limited to fd.nl, but also ft.com, newyorktimes.com, wallstreetjournal.com, reuters.com, bloomberg.com, also many other non-financial news websites, and also in many other languages. Try it for yourself and go to archive.today with an URL of a news article behind a paywall. Copy paste the URL in the dark blue search bar to search the archive. If the URL has been archived yet, you can request their bots to make a capture of the URL by copy pasting the URL in the red bar. This implies that all these publishers and news websites don't have any bot detection present, and if they do, clearly it doesn't work. So how does the archive.today bot work? And with this, one many others, because most bots share 95% of the technology stack, only the remaining 5% make it either an easy to detect bot or a pain in the neck bot. To validate this, I requested a few URLs to be added to the archive. To make my life easier, I added a unique suffix to each URL. to recognize the specific request made by the bot. The websites hosting these URLs contain Oxford Biochronometrics fraud detection technology, and thus I should be able to isolate this visitor. How do their bots look from Oxford Biochronometrics perspective? All recorded visits by their scraping bot use a similar technology stack. Based on IP address, the bots all reside in a data center, though each in a different country in my small sample test. The user agent was Mozilla 5.0, Windows NT 10, Win64, x64, Apple WebKit 537.36, KHTML, like Gecko, Chrome 92, 4515, 107, Safari 53736. The browser engine used was indeed a true Chrome 92 browser. If it were a spoofed user agent, the detection would have flagged it. Because of that, spoofing is a red flag. The navigator.webdriver was not existence, and a real Chrome 92 this value should be false or true when the browser is being controlled remotely. Again, a red flag. The list above can be seen as low-hanging fruit. Checklist 6 in the footnotes and contains a lot of useful information. The first bullet point shows that the bot reside in data centers probably all around the world. The first question you should ask yourself is, why are data center visitors allowed to read premium articles? Which visitors would ever visit your website from a data center? The 24/7 monitoring and maintenance team, the only possible reason I could think of is VPN users. That's because VPN endpoints reside in data centers, ensuring high bandwidth and low latency from to the internet. Chrome 92 was released in July 2021. Footnote 7. That's over 2 years ago. The percentage of visitors using this browser in September 23 on desktop is near zero. And if Chrome 92 visitors coming from one or more data centers, all sharing the same membership account, you know what to do. Another question, of course, is why hasn't archive.today updated their browser to a more modern Chrome version? Simply because it works. The fourth bullet point would be a technical is loaded and accessed. This shows that no bot detection is present at these websites, as this is one of the most basic checks which reveals the browser is a bot. By the way, it's very also easy for the bots to have this flag to set the value false. So don't rely on this too much. Besides this technical check, more clues are available in the data that reveals this visitor is a bot. This also accounts for other bots from other indexing or scraping services. Making a bot user using browser automation isn't that hard. The part where it becomes difficult is how to make the bot blend in at scale. That's the hard part. Because subscriptions are used to access paywalled and or premium articles, a simple analysis can be run, which accounts accesses our articles, how often 24/7, what percentage of those visitors come from a data center and data centers in multiple countries. To know which IP range are data centers, databases with metadata and information per IP address range can be bought. And once bought, they should be updated monthly to include newly bought data center IP ranges. The blog started with some quotes. Attempts to block websites don't suffice. Technically difficult to shield websites against bots, and they discover that bots copy articles. Talking about bots scraping their content. Apparently, it appears that with some reasoning, some basic analytics, and some IT knowledge, it isn't that difficult to spot bots. So how to fight these bots? Analytics and analytics and analytics. Without knowing who is loading your content, what devices are visiting you, where your visitors are coming from, you will always be guessing. To be able to separate your legitimate audience from bots and fraud, you'll have to slice the data, segment it into groups. Having read this article, you'll know what to look for. It's fairly simple. See the 4 checklists above. Once bots are blocked, it is just a matter of time until they adapt and update their technology stack. It would be wishful thinking to think that they just disappear. So once adapted, why? Because as mentioned before, it's hard to make bots at scale and blend in with the regular human audience. Due to large scale, these bots have to visit your website. It automatically becomes a group of statistically outliers and thus will be visible in the analytics. The underlying question is what makes them unique this time and next time and the next time after, etc. Use common sense. Although I do see the added value of the Internet Archive or an Internet Museum preserving content, screenshot web pages, and archive entire websites, at this moment, the service is abused to read premium content for free. The simplest and cleanest way without affecting news, publishers, and many others too much and still adhering to their mission will be a 30-day non-viewing period for newly archived web pages. In other cases where fake news websites are launched either to spread fake news based on real actual content and or monetize visitors using advertisements, these bots will work similarly to the archiving bot described above. Will they adapt when data center IP ranges are blocked? Yes, they will. Will they start using residential proxies? Yes, they will, but at a price, $2 per gigabyte. Once you add a bot detection layer and make their life even more miserable, the price of running bots will again increase. The goal is make it economically unfeasible. Advertisements will not provide that much profit to cover all the expenses, especially when advertisers start using common sense and avoid advertising on MFA sites by using domain whitelists and also whitelists of apps, since this phenomenon surely will shift or already exists to fake mobile news apps. In the end, it is all about common sense and the analytics to see where and how the scraping bots move over time. Content isn't a high value product like limited Nike sneakers, Taylor Swift tickets, NFL tickets, etc. So making it economically unfeasible is doable and will work. Any questions, comments? Send us a message. Thanks for listening.